In the vast wilderness of Kievan Rus, where power was held by the strength of one's sword, and survival meant the subjugation of your enemies, there lived a woman who would rise from the ashes of grief and betrayal. This is the story of Olga of Kiev. Olga was the wife of Prince Igor, ruler of Kievan Rus. Together, they reigned over a growing empire. But their neighbors, the Drevlians, had long been rebellious, refusing to bow to the authority of Kiev. In 945 AD, Prince Igor rode out to the Drevlians once more to demand tribute, but this time, he would not return. The Drevlians had had enough. They seized Prince Igor, tied him between two bent trees, and with a cruel snap of wood, tore him apart. The news reached Olga, her husband, her love, brutally murdered. Alone and with a young son too small to rule, the Drevlians thought they could control her.
They made a fatal mistake.
Olga's grief was raw, but in her heart, grief quickly gave way to something more powerful. Rage. And with that rage, a burning need for vengeance. Olga would not rest. The Drevlians would pay for every drop of blood they had spilled. The Drevlians, in their arrogance, sent ambassadors to Olga. They had the audacity to ask her to marry their prince, to replace her murdered husband. Olga pretended to agree. She promised them an honor befitting their mission. The next day, she ordered her people to dig a trench, and the ambassadors, unaware of their fate, were buried alive, their cries muffled by the earth that covered them.
But that was only the beginning.
Olga invited more Drevlian nobles to Kiev, promising them a grand feast. But first, she insisted they cleanse themselves in the bathhouse. As they bathed, Olga gave the order. Her soldiers locked the doors and set the bathhouse ablaze. The nobles' screams echoed into the night, but no one came to save them. The Drevlians had one last chance. In a desperate plea for mercy, they offered Olga food, wine, and riches. But she demanded something simple. 3 pigeons from each household in their city. Iskorosten. Olga took the birds, but instead of sparing the city, she attached sulfur and burning cloth to their feet. At dusk, she released them, and as they flew back to their nests,
they set the entire city on fire.
The city burned. The Drevlians were no more. Olga had her revenge, but her story doesn't end with fire and blood. In time, she embraced a new path, one of faith.
Olga was baptized into Christianity, becoming the first ruler of Kievan Rus to convert.
She transformed from a widow consumed by revenge to a ruler who would shape the future of her people. Her legacy lives on, not just in the fires she set, but in the faith she embraced. Olga of Kiev, a woman who refused to be a pawn in anyone's game, a widow who took her revenge, and a leader who would become a saint. Olga of Kiev, from vengeance to sainthood, a legacy carved in fire and faith.